I get asked a lot of the time, what's the difference between a coffee blend and a single origin? I'm Ryan, your Chief Espresso Officer, and today I'm going to clarify to you the difference between those two types of coffee. Now, blends gets thrown around the industry all the time, but there is an actual difference. A blend is like this one here, our Il Caramello blend, which is made up of multiple countries' coffee offerings. Now, a single origin coffee, like say this Guatemalan coffee, is made up of one country. So the difference is a blend has multiple countries' coffee in it, and a single origin means it comes from one country. Now this is where things get really confusing, so bear with me while I try to explain this. A single origin coffee doesn't necessarily mean it's one single variety of coffee or even one single farm that's produced the coffee. So a single origin is used to capture the region or sometimes just the country itself. But within this bag of Guatemalan beans, there could be some Caturra variety, some Typica variety, even some SL28 variety. There are multiple varieties that can all be used, and they can come from different farms depending on where that mill is processing the coffee from. Often we're talking about farmers that own a square acre of land and that have 200 trees, but they're not producing enough coffee to be exported outside of their own little region. So they collaborate and build a little co-op with the other farmers to bring together to maybe make it up to a couple of thousand trees. And then they can go to a mill and get that processed at a cheaper rate and exported to us here in Australia, where we get Guatemalan single origin coffee. Now, a blend, as most people refer to, is coffee that's represented by multiple countries. Like our Il Caramello blend here, which if you like, you can jump online on Coffee Beans Delivered and purchase some, represents 5 different countries: Kenya, Colombia, Brazil, Guatemala, and even a beautiful place in the heart of India called Tiger Mountain. So the next question is, why do we make blends and not just drink single origin coffees from around the world? Well, there's a couple of different reasons, but one of the main reasons people use blends is to help balance out the cheaper coffees with the more expensive ones, because a blend is generally going to go into a milk-based drink and can be made at any number of locations. Could be a cafe, could be a home, it could be a plunger, it could be an espresso. So it's got to have a balance that it makes it easy to be made and still taste relatively good anywhere and however it's produced by whoever's making it. Could be a poor barista, and you still want to make sure that most of the coffees stay fairly consistent. So by having those multiple origins of coffee, you can keep it fairly consistent. Now, some roasters use a Robusta family coffee, which is a less desirable type of coffee. It's rather bitter. But by introducing a little bit of that and then blending it with some high quality, say, Arabica family coffee, which is a much more beautiful natural flavor, you can disguise and spread out the costs across all of your coffees, especially in instant coffee. Now, most of you who are watching this video probably aren't interested in drinking instant coffee, but understand that that is why it tastes so vastly different if you're purchasing, say, the Il Caramello blend, which is only using the highest quality Arabica family coffee beans with inside it. So what we do here at Coffee Beans Delivered is we are trying to find the best flavors. So we want you, wherever you are and whatever experience level you are, to have the best experience when it comes to Il Caramello and tasting all of those malty, caramelly, and even a tiny hint of apricot in there. So we blend high quality Arabica beans from all around the world to make sure that no matter how you make this coffee, you'll always get a great experience. Now, don't take my word for it, just look at some of the reviews. Now, you often hear that there are also additives and added flavors going into blends to create some sort of novelty products like maple bacon, tutti frutti, raspberry cheesecake, all sorts of different coffee flavors can be found now if you're looking on the internet. In fact, I wrote a blog recently, which you might be interested in reading, about all of the craziest coffee flavors that you can find on the internet right now. However, we don't do that. We are chasing the natural characteristics of coffee. So in Il Caramello, when I describe apricot and caramel and malt, these beans haven't been soaked in malt or caramel. They are the natural characteristics found in the beans themselves. And so whereas they might not be super evident, as your palate adjusts to drinking coffee, even when you're drinking it without milk, you will pick up certain flavors in the coffee that will remind you of an apricot, maybe a little bit of a caramel, or a malty sort of bar that you might have eaten in the past. Another reason why we design blends for that consistency is because we know that most people are still drinking coffee with milk. And so whether you're drinking the dollar Coles milk from supermarkets or a really creamy, unhomogenized milk from a local dairy, this coffee is going to taste great because we've designed this particularly to cut through any type of milk and to bring those flavors through. So the beauty of blends is that you can really hone in on what sort of flavors you might like to do. And last year at Halloween, we had a heap of fun making a coffee that tasted like the pineapple lumps that you might remember from your childhood. So that's just a small snippet about what goes on here behind the scenes at Coffee Beans Delivered. If you're interested in finding out more, you can check us out, read our blogs, follow us on social media, and even we have a YouTube channel for detailed information on all of our coffees. That's it from me. I'm Ride, your Chief Espresso Officer. Enjoy your brew.